friend, g'day. It's always interesting following an Australian presentation. You know that there is much great love between the brothers in New Zealand and brothers in Australia, and but it was just great to see that presentation. It truly is a really innovative country, and we, or both economies, are really closely bound together. So innovation in Australia and innovation in New Zealand are inextricably linked. So we're just going to give some New Zealand perspectives on innovation, and I'd just like to acknowledge some of the partners that are involved in putting this presentation together. Creative HQ, which is one of our government-owned accelerators, incubators, startup organizations based in Wellington, the GovTech capital of the world. The Tech Alliance, Lina Network New Zealand, and my friends Organ, who are due to present with me, but they're next door in the Industry 4.0 room, so lots going on in this presentation. So my name is Emmet. I'm from New Zealand GovTech Know-how, a New Zealand government agency that is tasked with bringing our state sector solutions to the world. So what we were going to cover today is briefly talk about the entrepreneurial ecosystem, New Zealand's experience in government innovation, a little bit about a collaboration project that we have been doing with the government of the Philippines, and lessons from government support for startups. And then, time willing, I'll give a little snapshot of our tech industry as well. So I think a few presenters have put this slide on today, and generally it has that entrepreneurial ecosystem wheel around the side that you're all very familiar with. I've added an extra element to it, and that is government as an innovator. Now that sounds a bit of an oxymoron, but we pride ourselves in New Zealand as having an entrepreneurial, innovative philosophy in our government. We take huge pride in innovating. We innovate because we have to, and we innovate because we want to. We innovate because we're far, far away from the rest of the world. We innovate because we need to grow our economy from a relatively low tax base. So we've got all sorts of reasons to innovate, but also it's because we just love inventing and doing new stuff. It's just in the New Zealand DNA. So government is an important innovator in our system. And I'll just talk about one particular example of that. So what are the challenges to innovation in the public sector? Well, this is a great little slide from Gartner, the international organization. The biggest threat to innovation is internal politics and an organizational culture which doesn't accept failure and or doesn't accept ideas from outside and cannot change. So if you do a bit of reverse engineering in this, you know, how do you innovate in government? Well, one of the things is try and eliminate internal politics, reverse engineer your organizational culture, accept failure, embrace failure, and take ideas from outside. And that's what we have done in our New Zealand GovTech Accelerator system. So our Lightning Lab GovTech Accelerator is a program that's focused on creating change in our government services. But we create change by embracing some of the lean, agile methods that have been created by the tech industry. We use methods like design sprints, and design sprints, many of you are familiar with them, developed by Google Ventures. Well, we now use these type of methods to innovate in government. The GovTech Acceleration Program, one of the first in the world, it was established in 2015 with investment from our government. So far, we've had 33 GovTech projects working on transformative innovation in government to date, 500 staff in our civil service upskilled. 500 might seem like a large number to a country like Viet Nam, but we've got a fairly compact government, so there's quite a lot of people who've involved in innovation programs. And we've tackled all sorts of meaty issues. Water loss in our urban environment, lack of engagement with youth, addressing family violence, cyber security, improving people's access to government data, all sorts of fintech related things to do with paying taxation. So big, meaty issues, and we just apply the government acceleration processes to it. The accelerator runs on a 3-month project basis. We take a team out of the government agency, isolate them, put them into an innovative environment where they can be free from their business as usual tasks, and they can get on with the business of addressing a problem, tackling a problem, and solving a problem. And then at the end of the 3-month period, they get to pitch that to government leaders, decision makers, and government investors. And we've just had a big GovTech Demo Day in Wellington 3 weeks ago, and huge response to the innovation that came out of the latest GovTech Accelerator. And we were very lucky to also have participants from Taiwan. So the Taiwan Water Corporation sent down a team to be part of our GovTech Accelerator, and they did a wonderful job. And if anybody here from Viet Nam or any of the other countries in the region are interested in taking part in our next New Zealand GovTech Accelerator, you can come and see me before the end of the day, or just send me an email. So innovation in the public sector requires some very different approaches. Educating the authorization environment is it's a real key. It's making sure that the people at those top tables really understand what innovation means. That's probably a generational journey, but also it's a journey that requires sort of leadership at the very, very top of the system. And we've been very lucky in New Zealand that some of our elected leaders have actually been natural entrepreneurs themselves and have embraced these new ideas. Creating a safe experimentation space, that's really important. It's really important to create an environment that sort of de-risks people, de-risks their careers, allows them to innovate in a particular government area, without sort of fear. All sorts of other things there. Developing a customer mindset. One of the things that I've been said earlier today as well is that one of the great things that we do in New Zealand is that we look at our people as customers. That changes the mindset. We're no longer there to regulate, treat them as taxpayers. You're going to treat them as people that you need to serve, people who you want to do business with, and the people who you want to make their experience of you better and better and better. And that's a psychological thing that we've adopted, and it really shows in the way our public services have changed. A few other things there that you can read, but again, agile, lean methodologies, we've totally embraced them in our innovation sector. I'll briefly mention a project that we've done that I've led with my colleagues in the Philippines, and that's a project called Project One, where we've worked with the Philippines government to bring more GovTech innovation methods to the Philippines to help improve business licensing and business registration processes. New Zealand is ranked by the World Bank #1 in the world for ease of doing business, and for that reason we've got some wisdom to bring to the business reform process. We've had some amazing results. The Philippines government, working with us, has adopted the lean agile methods, and in a very quick period of time we've created some wonderful new services for the people of the Philippines, including the development of the world's first mobile-only based business licensing and registration system. And we've done that because the people of the Philippines all use smartphones, and they demand that their services be delivered via smartphones. So that's an example of us listening to the customer. So there's a few lessons here about sustainable innovation systems that we've, ecosystems that we've learned from New Zealand. I'll only highlight a couple of them. The first one is don't focus on physical spaces and buildings. Focus on programs and activation. Too much money, too much resource goes into the physical side and not actually into creating programs and environments that people can thrive in. Another one is the sustainable funding model. We could probably talk about that all day, but at some stage somebody has got to ask, is an ecosystem sustainable? How can it sustain itself without ongoing support from government? Well, it has to look at some proven funding models, and one of them is by providing education and training services as a supplement, by providing innovation services, and fund management. I will say though that commercialization and equity in startups is not a good bet for sustaining your ecosystem because failure is just simply a part of it. And failure, not the opposite, is embracing failure is a key part of success for startup ventures. You've got to be prepared to accept high rates of failure. You've got to be able to embrace them. And of course, most business people, most entrepreneurs will always experience failure in life. And the most successful business people are people who just get back up and start it all over again. So government doesn't like failure, but in this case, this is something that government needs to embrace. So just some very brief slides here about our growth. A lot of people think of New Zealand as sheep and dairy, primary industries, fish, and we do all those things and we do them very well. But we've got a huge growing tech sector. We have a lot of innovation right across our region, rapid growth, and that's in areas like agri-tech, fintech, blockchain has been often mentioned throughout today, and sometimes it does feel like a buzzword, but a lot of our innovators are doing some really special things in that sort of broad space. And the markets that we work in, Australia is a key market for New Zealand. New Zealand itself is one of the key markets, and Asia, while it's only 7% currently of New Zealand's market for tech, it's increasingly becoming a huge focus. And one of the things that I'm here for on behalf of our New Zealand government is to take back lessons and take back messages home to say that Viet Nam is a great place to do business in. Viet Nam has got a great, young, smart population who we would love to have working for our New Zealand companies. And I think the future of New Zealand in Vietnam and Vietnam in New Zealand is only going to continue to grow. So just a little slide there about our some of our tech ecosystem. So we have all sorts of industry-led and government-supported initiatives. And please do Google or do some web searches on innovation in New Zealand. Look at what our Department of Internal Affairs are doing. Just Google us and just look and explore what's happening in my world. And just to finish off, a little slide there, logos of some of the companies from New Zealand, some of them small, some of them very large, who are actually here today, have been really enjoying the interaction. And I'd just like you to please put your hands together for the organisers of TechFest, who've I think been doing a sterling job here, and we're really looking forward to taking part in TechFest 2019. Please put your hands together for the organisers. I think they've done a great job. And finally, I would just like to say that there's a little New Zealand event later on. If there's any of the people from Viet Nam or international government agencies or businesses, and you'd like an invite to this event later on this afternoon, do please come and see us here in the front row. Kia ora, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.